Welcome back. This week, Mel has cooked up my favorite meal, and it can be used at any time of the year.
A little bird by the name of Alicia, on her first visit to my kitchen, just happened to mention that her favorite food group was casseroles, and her favorite casserole was her mother's tuna noodle. Well, I don't have her mother's recipe, but I do have a really good one, so I'm going to make it for her today. It's something I like to do when I get a sense that somebody on my WHVL team has a favorite food. Join me for a few minutes this morning while I make Alicia a tuna noodle casserole. Before our crew arrived this morning, I cooked and drained a half a box or 8 ounces of bow tie noodles. I cooked them al dente and I drained them really well because you want them to be free of moisture, not watery. So they've kind of been sitting out on my counter, kind of drying out for a little bit. Put them in a big bowl. I also drained a 12-inch can of solid white meat tuna, drained it really well. It's packed in water. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, with my fingertips, break this into bite-sized pieces. Don't use a fork to chop it. Just make sure you keep all of your pieces as big as you can. You know, fork friendly, something that you would like to put in your mouth. Okay. Now I'm going to put this on top of the tuna, and I'm just going to spread it out a little bit so it moistens up the noodles just a little. And we're going to head over to the stove and make some creamy, dreamy, cheesy sauce. I make a thick and creamy cheese sauce with vegetables added to it to replace the typical cream of mushroom or cream of celery soup. This is really fast and it's really easy, and I know all your moms have tried and true recipes with the cream of soup, but give this a shot. You just might really like it. I've melted 4 tablespoons of butter in a wide bottom 4-quart skillet, and I'm going to season it with 1.5 teaspoons of sea salt and 1/2 teaspoon of white pepper. And I use white pepper because white on white, that's what they always say, white sauce, white pepper. And I'm going to add 1/2 cup of diced onions, 1/2 cup of diced celery, nice small diced. You would find celery in cream of celery soup. And I'm just going to turn the heat up to medium high and saute this, for about 1 minute to 1.5 minutes. I'm going to stir it pretty often through the process, just till the onions get soft and translucent, and the celery will be kind of cooked through. Okay, that's been about 1 minute. Onions are soft, celery is still crunch tender. Now I'm going to add 1.5 cups of frozen peas and carrots. I haven't even bothered to thaw them. And a 4.5 ounce jar of well-drained sliced mushrooms. Now I'm going to stir this for about 2 minutes, again, 1.5 to 2 minutes, until the vegetables, the frozen vegetables, are just thawed through. It's been about 2 minutes. My carrots are just fork tender, so that's perfect. And now I'm going to add 1/4 cup of flour. I'm using Wonder Flour, which is a granular flour which prevents lumps, but all-purpose flour is going to work just fine. So we're going to stir in this flour, and we're going to let this cook for a full minute. And the reason you want to take the time, the full minute, is because as the flour cooks, you won't have any floury flavor in your sauce after this is over. You're going to cook that flavor out. According to my timer, that's been a full minute. And now I'm adding 2 cups. I'm using 1/2 and 1/2. You can use whole milk or cream. That is your choice. I'm going to add all of that. We'll adjust this to a simmer. And when it comes to a simmer, we're going to let this cook for another 1.5 minutes till 2 minutes until it starts to thicken. Okay, that's been about 1 minute, and this is about as thick as I want it at this point. You can see it's creamy, but it's still really drizzly. That's exactly what you're looking for. And now it's time to add our cheese. Now I'm using Provel, which is a mixture of Swiss and cheddar and provolone. We're going to add the cheese. Now we're going to lower this heat to take away our simmer, and we're just going to keep stirring this till we have a really rich and creamy cheese sauce. I'm going to turn off the heat, and we're going to head back to the counter and assemble our casserole. I've got my creamy sauce, creamy cheesy sauce, right off the stove and hot. And I'm just going to add all of this, every last ooey gooey drop, to the bowl with the noodles and the pasta. And again, that was 8 ounces of bow tie noodles and a 12-ounce can of tuna. Now I'm going to give this a thorough stir. We want to make sure that all of that pasta is enrobed in the sauce and all of those vegetables are evenly distributed. Okay, I'm going to set this to the side. Now I have an 11 by 7 by 2 inch baking dish. I'm going to add all of my tuna noodle mixture to the casserole that's been sprayed with a little bit of no stick spray. That's all in. I'm going to spread this evenly in the pan, then I'm going to clean up my dribbles and drips, and we're going to make our topping. Crispy topping couldn't be easier. I've melted 2 tablespoons of butter in this little container here, and I'm going to start adding breadcrumbs. Now I'm adding French bread style crumbs, which I really like a lot. Panko would work really great, and you can even use plain dry breadcrumbs to do this. And I'm going to start, I have 6 tablespoons of breadcrumbs, and I'm just going to slowly stir them into the butter. And you're going to need all of these. About 2 tablespoons at a time. I add them. Stir, stir, and stir till it's really mealy. That's great. And now there's only one way to do this perfectly, and that's with your fingertips. You take the topping and drizzle them all over the top. Just sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. I'm just going to wash my hands and pop this into a 350-degree oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. Decorating, shopping, wrapping, baking, planning. The holidays sure can be stressful for the family cook. So take a tip from me. Take a step back and a deep breath too. Make the time to relax and enjoy a comforting casserole with your friends and family. From my kitchen to yours, and from me and everyone at WHVL-TV, happy holidays.